Hi, my name is Murthy and I'm from Box. Today in this demonstration, I'm going to talk about how we can use Payment Manager for Mojaloop to easily onboard a new FSP that is looking to integrate with a switch and then start sending transactions. Now, creating these certificates is an extremely manual process. And if I recall correctly, it is around some 150-step process. Even though we have extensive documentation covering all those steps in finer detail, that is at the end of the day, that is still a very manual process, and there is a lot of room for errors to creep in. That is where the payment manager comes in. It automates majority of those manual workflows so that the onboarding time is significantly reduced. In the next couple of screens, I'm going to walk you over the steps involved in configuring the client-side and the server-side certificates. So what you see on my screen on the right-hand side is the connection manager UI. And on the left-hand side, I have the payment manager UI that is deployed on one of the simulator instances. So if I go to the connection manager, I logged in as a hub operator. And the very first thing that I do is I upload the certificate authority chain, which is what in here. As you can see, the switch server is a certificate authority chain. And if I go into the client certificates, and if I go to the DFSP CSRs, you can see that there are no existing requests from the DFSPs for signing a certificate. So in the next step, what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to the payment manager instance. And then I'm going to go into the connection wizard. And connection wizard is a place where I'll be configuring all my technical details. And if I go into the technical setup, and I'll be going into the CSR exchange. So this is a client-side certificate exchange. As you can see, there are options in here wherein a DFSP operator can manually upload a CSR, but there is also an option wherein they can, using this button auto-generate, they can click that to auto-generate the CSR. So what I would expect is if I click this button, a CSR should be generated, and that should be uploaded into the connection manager on the server side. Let me click that button now. That is complete. So if I come to the connection manager and if I refresh my screen, you can see that there is an existing pending request to be signed by the hub operator. Now, as a hub operator, what I'll be doing is I'll be signing the CSR by clicking the use provided CA button. Now, if I click this use provided CA, that is going to use the underlying certificate authorities that I uploaded in the previous step. So I'm going to click that button. And when I click that, I expect that the connection manager should be creating a certificate. As you can see, it is created in here. Now, what is going to happen behind the scenes is that the connection manager components on the payment manager side, they're going to constantly poll the server side components and then check for the availability of the certificate. And as soon as that is available, it is going to download that and it is going to forward that information to the Mojaloop connector instances, and they'll be reconfiguring that information. So those are all the steps that are required for the client-side certificates. Now, if we move to the server-side certificates, I want to briefly talk about how this process happens. If I go into the connection manager again on the right side, and if I go into the server certificates, and if I go into the DFSP server certificates, you can see that there are no existing valid server certificates in here. So what I want to do is I want to go back to my payment manager, and then there is an option here wherein I can manually choose it. But to automate this, I I do not want to manually upload any files. And as you can see, there is no feature existing to automatically generate from the UI side, but there is a backend API that we can call that automatically generates all these certificates. I'm going to click that send button. And what I expect is that once I click the send button, the certificate should be generated by the payment manager, and that should be uploaded into the connection manager. Click that button. And that is complete. And if I come here to the connection manager, you can see that there is a DFSP PM4ML sender FSP available in here. There is an outstanding bug in here wherein the certificate generated has an issue that is being actively worked upon. But these are all the steps that I wanted to show you in this video around how to configure TLS on the hub side using Payment Manager. As you can see, with just a couple of clicks, and we wanted it to be that way, that we are replacing a lot of manual workflow that is happening previously. And with this templates and with this automation in place, our hope is that we should be able to onboard any new FSP within a 2-week time frame. And we are definitely targeting for that. And we'll be happy to report those results hopefully in the next convening. This is all I wanted to show in this presentation. Thank you so much for your time.